Hello, and welcome to the CCNA Routing and Switching course offered by Simplilearn. This course is divided into 21 lessons. This is the first lesson of the course that talks about internetworking. This lesson focuses on the definition of the word network and two models that help the learner to understand data communications. Let us begin with the objectives of this lesson in the next slide. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain internetworking models, list the types of internetworking models, discuss the OSI reference model and its layers, describe the role of different devices that comprise a network. Let us start by discussing what comprises a network. A network is a collection of devices that are connected through media. It has the following characteristics. Devices contain services and resources. Devices could be PCs, routers, switches, and servers. The services that the routers, switches, and servers provide include switching, routing, addressing, and data access, among others. Connecting users to the available services means that the services can be provided once for all the users instead of piecemeal over multiple devices. Connecting devices allow users to share resources more efficiently. A network is scalable and easier to maintain. This course will present the concepts involved in creating and maintaining a small to medium-sized network for an organization. Let us discuss the internetworking models in the next slide. With the inception of networks, hardware and software from different manufacturers could not interoperate. To create a network, it was necessary to buy all the components from the same vendor. To build hardware and software that can interoperate, a model with communication functions is required. Internetworking models are important for three reasons. Firstly, they encourage interoperability. A model gives a standard way to discuss the functions that are required. A vendor manufactures a device to fulfill specific functions that are detailed in the model. Secondly, models provide a reference to describe the process of data communication. In networking, these models are used all the time. Using model terminology becomes a shorthand way of expressing data communication concepts. Thirdly, models facilitate modular engineering. One vendor can write software that implements higher layers, for example, a web browser, and another vendor can write software that implements the lower layers. The copper cables used to transmit data are standardized so that they can be used by any switch, router, or PC. In the next slide, we will discuss the types of internetworking models. The two types of internetworking models are Open Systems Interconnection (OSI) reference model and Transmission Control Protocol Internet Protocol. The Open Systems Interconnection (OSI) reference model is used often as a reference point. The Transmission Control Protocol Internet Protocol (TCP/IP) model is also widely used. Let us look into the layers of OSI reference model in the following slide. The OSI reference model was developed by the International Standards Organization, ISO. This is the most widely used model today. This model has 7 layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical. Each layer has a number. The layer nearest to the user, the application layer, is given the number 7. The physical layer is the farthest from the layer number 1. The layers represent processing that must be done to the data at that point in data communications. The physical layer, for example, can refer to the bits and bytes that go over a copper cable. It can also refer to the bits and bytes that go through the air in a wireless network. The same kind of processing must be done to the bits and bytes, irrespective of their source, in order to send the data to the next layer for further processing. This model is used to discuss how data goes from a physical representation to a representation that is understandable to the user at layer 7, the application layer. It is also used to discuss how data entered at layer 7 is processed in order to send it over a copper cable at layer 1. In the next slide, let us take a look at the encapsulation layers 2 to 4. The image on this slide depicts the process of encapsulation at layer 2 to 4. The layer 4 header contains source port and the destination port. These are the addresses used at layer 4. The Layer 3 header contains the source and the destination IP address. At Layer 2, the most important fields are destination and source MAC address. MAC stands for Media Access Control and happens at Layers 1 and 2. At this layer, there is also a trailer added after the data. This consists of a frame check sequence to check if the data is consistent. If it is not, the datagram is discarded. We will discuss network devices in the following slide. The image on the slide depicts the typical organization of a network. There are many network devices that can be connected to a network. For example, PCs, printers, servers, and laptops. These devices are then attached to a Layer 2 device called a switch. In turn, the switches are connected to a Layer 3 device called a router. We will discuss routers in the following slide. Routers are Layer 3 devices. They perform the following functions in a network. Packet switching. It is the process of getting a packet to the next device. Packet filtering. It consists of permitting or blocking packets based on defined criteria. Path selecting. It refers to routing, that is, determining the best path to take through the network to a destination. Communicating. It refers to communicating with other networks, for example, the Internet. Next, we will move on to switches. Switches are Layer 2 devices. Switches perform the following functions in a network. Frame forwarding and frame filtering, which is similar to what routers do at Level 3, and connecting end devices to the network. However, there are multi-layer switches, MLSs, that can perform some router functions. In this course, the term switch will refer to a Layer 2 switch unless otherwise specified. Let us move on to the quiz questions to check your understanding of the topics covered in this lesson.